Good afternoon, dear friends. This is Ruslan Belov. We continue to follow the situation on the front lines with you in our daily format. So what do you think about the 30-day ceasefire? How do you feel about it? Write your thoughts in the comments below, how you feel about it, what you think, and whether Russia will agree to it or not. Meanwhile, we continue to analyze the situation on the front lines. Let's open the map together. Before we begin, I'd like to sincerely ask you to subscribe to the channel. Your subscription helps the channel grow. Thank you to everyone who has already subscribed. Now, the events in the Kursk region are approaching their final stage. Why do I say final stage? Because only 7 settlements and about 150 square kilometers remain under the control of the Ukrainian armed forces. Just 4 days ago, they controlled more than 20 settlements and 400 square kilometers. However, thanks to the powerful advance of the Russian army, not nearly, but exactly, 250 square kilometers of Kursk land have been taken under control in half a week. The offensive continues, as does the retreat of the Ukrainian armed forces. Just today, Forbes published an article stating that some elite brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces have been withdrawn from the Kursk region to the Sumy region. But in fact, we've been observing this over the past 2 days. Videos of the retreat appeared online yesterday, showing literally crowds of soldiers leaving Sudzha, although some, as you know, came under fire. Now, regarding the situation in the Kursk region. Yesterday, the defense of Sudzha collapsed, as we discussed in last night's update. Let me remind you once again that the entire eastern part of the city was under the control of the Ukrainian armed forces as recently as yesterday morning, 24 hours ago. But after strikes from 2 sides, from the north and the east, the Ukrainian defense crumbled. They tried to hold on to the bus station, but it didn't work out. As a result, they collectively retreated to the central part of the city. But even there, they almost immediately began to lose ground. In particular, from the Zaporizhzhia side, Russian assault troops quickly took control of Krasny Bereg Street, the football stadium, as well as Lenin Street and the Pokrovsk church. This concerns the attacks from the southern side, from Zaporizhzhia. At the same time, attacks were underway from the eastern part of the city. First, the entire territory between the eastern and central parts of the city was taken. Then, on the heels of the retreating Ukrainian forces, they advanced here to the outskirts, to 8th March Street. Do you think the Ukrainian armed forces managed to coordinate here, put up a defense, or try to delay the Russian troops? Not at all, not even close. Although it would seem this is a residential area with very dense buildings, perfect for setting up a defense, as in Toretsk. But fortunately, fear, panic, and chaos in the ranks of the Ukrainian armed forces turned out to be much stronger, and they continued their retreat to the Sumy region. Here's a map from yesterday's update, and I'll show you how much the situation has actually changed. You, my friends, will be shocked. And this change happened in just one night. As I already told you, the changes occurred in just one night and this morning. Massive changes. Let me explain what happened. You can see it all on the map. This red line, do you see it? This red line marks the area that was taken overnight and this morning. After the Ukrainian armed forces fled from the eastern part of Sudzha to the central part, Russian troops, without stopping, continued their advance. And when I say without stopping, I mean there were no breaks, no pauses. They immediately followed, and the Ukrainian armed forces couldn't organize a defense. When you're running and being chased, you simply don't have time to stop, dig in, or do anything else. So following the retreating Ukrainian forces from the eastern part of Sudzha, 2 strikes were immediately launched, from the south and the east. From the south, look, the Pokrovsk church was taken. Then the movement continued westward along Lenin Street. Literally within an hour, the assault units managed to reach the western, or rather southwestern outskirts of Sudzha. In particular, Soviet Square and the city administration building were taken under control. A Russian flag was raised in front of the administration building, and by the way, the beloved Pyaterochka store, here it is, also came under Russian control. It was from this store that Ukrainian soldiers loved to post their videos online, showing them looting the store, etc. Where the Ukrainian armed forces will shop now, I don't know. All jokes aside, a tremendous amount of work was done, as the offensive was also underway from the east. During the very first strike, the Ukrainian armed forces were driven out of the Mercury shopping center. This is the building of the shopping center. After that, everything collapsed like a house of cards. I don't see the point in listing the streets and buildings that were taken under control. It's enough to just look at the map and see this entire area, all the streets and buildings. They were taken under control overnight and this morning. In general, this entire territory has returned home. Yes, the Ukrainian armed forces have also essentially returned home. There are still some pockets of resistance by the Ukrainian armed forces, but they are not coordinated in any way. And in the very near future, they will undoubtedly be suppressed. The grey zone for now consists of 2 streets on the northern outskirts of Sudzha. But that's essentially it. The rest of the city is practically under the complete and undisputed control of the Russian army. In addition to the successes in Sudzha, there was also progress to the north. In particular, the village of Pervy Knyazhny was taken yesterday. It was under the control of Ukrainian soldiers, but by evening they were driven out. Thus, at the time of recording this video, the Ukrainian armed forces controlled only 7 villages in the Kursk region. Let me even list them for you. Zaporizhzhia, Goncharovka, Rubanshchina, Gogolevka, Oleshnaya, Guevo and Gornal. These 7 villages are all that remain under Ukrainian control at the moment. And even today, the fighting will clearly shift from liberated Sudzha to Zaporizhzhia and Goncharovka, and then by the end of the week, I think, if anything remains under Ukrainian control, it might only be Guevo in the south. That's it. Why Guevo specifically? Well, it's positioned in such a way that it's easy to defend and conversely difficult to take. We'll see how the situation develops there. Now let's look at what's happening on other parts of the front, starting with the Zaporizhzhia direction. Russian units have expanded the zone of control southeast of the settlement of Kamenskoye, advancing up to 2 kilometers to the north from the village of Lugovoye. This information is confirmed by footage published by the Ukrainian side, showing an attack on advanced Russian positions using FPV drones. Next, the South Donetsk direction. Here, according to reports from some sources, Russian assault groups, after fierce fighting, managed to enter the southeastern outskirts of the settlement of Volnoy Pole from the direction of the neighboring village of Privolnoye. In turn, the Ukrainian armed forces counterattacked north of the settlement of Berlatskoye and regained control of part of the forest belt on the approaches to the village, but without any ground confirmation. It is also reported that Russian troops have taken control of the settlement of Dnepro-Energia, and we are awaiting confirmation of this information. Next, the Pokrovsk direction. Heavy clashes continue on the approaches to Pokrovsk. Russian units managed to regain control of some previously lost positions on the northern outskirts of the settlement of Shevchenko, near the local stadium. This information is confirmed by footage published by the Ukrainian side, showing an attack on advanced Russian positions using FPV drones. At the moment, the main fighting in Shevchenko is unfolding in the eastern part of the village, where Russian assault groups are trying to dislodge Ukrainian units. Next, the Toretsk direction. Here, Russian troops continue clearing operations in Dzerzhinsk. Small infantry groups of the Ukrainian armed forces infiltrating various parts of the city are quickly eliminated by Russian units, but the situation remains tense. Additionally, today the Russian Ministry of Defense reported that, as a result of active operations, the settlement of Gorky, also known as Dakhnoye, has come under the full control of the southern group of forces. Local successes by Russian forces have been recorded in the city center, in the area of high-rise buildings, where part of the buildings on Verbovaya Street came under Russian control during assault operations. This information is confirmed by footage published by the Ukrainian side, showing an attack on advanced Russian positions using FPV drones. On the Kharkiv, Seversk, Kupiansk, and Kharkiv directions, there are no visible changes. In any case, I congratulate the residents of Sudzha on their liberation, as well as the other residents of the Kursk region who now have the opportunity to return to their homes. Well, that's all for today's update on the situation at the front. I'll say goodbye for now, wishing you a good workday.